Hey everyone, welcome back to the Healthy Cuties. Today we'll be discussing the opioid crisis and informatics. In this video, we will be covering two articles: Internet searches predict future emergency heroin admissions and the role of predictive analytics in clinical care. Later, we will be discussing our insights and thoughts as well as what we have taken away from these articles.
Internet searches for opioid predict future emergency department heroin admission highlights the possibility of using internet search data to predict and address heroin and opioid-related admissions and outcomes. It also proposes ways in which obtained data from the study can be used to help researchers and public health officials gain a timely insight to produce location-specific intervention programs, thus preventing future opioid epidemics and other negative outcomes, including overdose. The method would ultimately lower overall medical costs regarding heroin usage through cheaper public health alternatives and methods. Due to the lack of data on heroin usage on the internet, opioid-related words such as Avinza, methadone, Cadian, China White, and oxymorphone are used to predict heroin-related uses. However, controversial words such as brown sugar skew results in regards to its real-life application in baking and cooking. Moreover, the study is also highly flawed in its ability to gather specific relevant information regarding heroin and opioid-related behaviors and outcomes, which prevents the practical application of internet searches.
Next, we will talk about the role of predictive analytics in clinical care by David Alfondra. In the article, he explains that big data refers to large amounts of easily and rapidly accessible, diverse, heterogeneous patient data. It is now being used toward predictive analytics. This is being used in predictive analytics, or the use of electronic algorithms for clinical decision support that forecast future events in real time. Predictive analytics can help aid physicians faced with tough decisions, such as deciding whether a patient needs ICU-level care or a different level.
Electronics algorithms of care are defined as the use of e-algorithms for clinical decision support that forecast future events in real time. They can help make important clinical decisions in the clinic or at the bedside, such as deciding which patients need ICU care. Recently, machine learning has been implemented via e-algorithms to help detect diabetic retinopathy, and it has been proven successful. However, e-algorithms have a potential for bias, misuse, and less equity. In order to reassure that the technology does not interfere with individualized patient needs, various steps are taken. First, it is important to analyze how the algorithm was developed and validated. Different stakeholders have different values. For example, hospitals are concerned about the cost, physicians about the workflow, and patients about the possible adverse outcomes or their quality of life. Next, the sample population is taken into consideration. For example, the size and who these people are. The various social economic statuses, ethnicity, and location are also all taken into consideration. If these are not accurate, the PA, or predictive analytics, may reinforce existing health disparities and worsen health equity. Next, conflicts of interest in the development of PA for patient care is also taken into consideration. Although it might be easy to review conflicts of interest disclosures in peer-reviewed studies, it may not necessarily be transparent for the PA models. Deciding on treatments for patients is also significant because models may be designed to improve overall health of population. However, this may be at odds with the overall individual patient's needs and preferences.
Even though predictive analysis can help patients, the patient's overall safety falls in the hands of their healthcare provider. Physicians must use the data gained from PA, alongside other factors like the patient's opinion, to gauge what is the best overall action for their patient. For instance, the program might calculate that the best solution to a patient's symptom is a shot. However, the patient might be afraid of needles. Therefore, the doctor must decide whether there are other solutions for the patient or to carry on with the suggested solution.
In regards to heroin and opioid data collection, the proposal is very open-ended and is not fully developed with many flaws. There are too many factors to take into consideration in order to produce unbiased results and data. This includes differentiating between personal recreational use and individual-specific medical use. Moreover, as stated by the first article, there is no certain way to obtain heroin and opioid-related behaviors and outcomes. Furthermore, the use of internet searches fails to correctly differentiate between searches for academic use and recreational use. There is also the inability to gather accurate location-specific information from incognito browsers without violating the privacy of the web browsing user. Therefore, it is difficult to develop a general conclusion.
I personally believe that there is not enough data to treat opioid addiction. There isn't a lot of information, but internet search data can be a potential solution. At the moment, I think we should focus on documenting more data, analyzing the data we currently have, and then push for education, especially in areas with a high risk for heroin admissions. Predictive analytics can be a useful tool in a medical office, but I think we should try to be wary of any bias that stems from it, especially the implementation of algorithms and their results. There isn't much research done in this area yet, but I think it has a lot of potential.
I also really liked how the second article questioned how the PA algorithm was made. I think institutionalized and implicit biases could easily influence how the algorithm works in both the sample and the stakeholders. This would limit the accuracy of the predictions because they could be excluding minorities' data, which therefore the predictions would only be applicable to privileged populations.
So the article that I found the most interesting was actually the second article. I liked how it hinted that the more advanced there is in health and medical technology, the possibility that there is a reduction in the individualization of patient needs. So for example, with predictive analysis, it's drawing data from the health of the overall population. So when it comes to making treatment plans or designing like any kind of plan for a patient, it's drawing data from the general population instead of taking into consideration the own patient's needs and wants.
Overall, these articles open up and explore the different possibilities and methods of personal data collection in order to better address personal and public health issues while developing more target-specific public health measures.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next week's video.